just a couple bad weather fans representing New York, talking all things sports. Man, what could go wrong? We got Alex, who's a fan of the Knicks, and Mike of the Nets. The yin-yang of the tri-state, place your bets on the Yankees, Giants, Mets, or Jets. Yeah, you should listen if it's sparking your interest. If you made a vow to your team, don't break it. Bad weather fans is the relation.
That's right, this Bad Weather Fans, episode number 259. Mike DeSeglia, Alex Benesowitz, and we are presented by DraftKings. NBA season coming down to its final weeks. Knicks pretty much set in the 3 spot, 3 up on the Pacers as their season is winding down, while the Brooklyn Nets in tankathon mode looks like they're going to be set at the number 6 spot going into the lottery. A little too far back behind the Sixers, but a big enough lead against the Raptors, although the Nets are doing all of that in reverse, of course. Jalen Brunson reports now that he might return to this weekend for the Knicks after they come off a blowout loss, especially in the second half to the Cavs. And the Nets losers last night to the Minnesota Timberwolves. But that's something that the Nets, of course, want to do, or at least their fans do, and maybe management. Who knows? Alex, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you doing?
And good night. I'm doing well. Hope Jalen Brunson's coming back for the right reasons and not just for his all NBA. What do you call it? What's the word? He needs to hit 65 game threshold and he's four short. He needs to come back before the playoffs and get right and not be rusty. But there is a week off for the play-in tournament anyway. But see how he does. I hope he's coming back for the right reasons. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he wouldn't, but I hope he is. But anyway, Nets keep losing, so it's good to go.
Yeah, I think
you're good to go too.
Well, I think for Brunson, it's like you don't want to come back and obviously, like, what is to gain from him in the regular season? Nothing. The only thing to gain now is he just has. You don't want his first reps to be in the playoffs and be rusty when it matters. So it's just the balance, I think, for the Knicks of getting him some minutes, but at the same time not taxing him in his ankle.
Well, he's going to play 42 minutes or something. No,
I mean that would be absurd. That would be absurd. And there's a lot of similarities to the Nets season from a few years ago, where they had the season where the Nets were the 7th seed and they lost to the Celtics in 4 games.
That was fun.
The similarities are just with like, well, wait till see what happens when we all get healthy, and then they got their ass kicked. And it was just like they finally got it all together. I mean, minus Ben Simmons, I guess, but Kyrie and Durant were on the court together. And remember everything that had happened that season.
Game 1 was kind of like they lost at the buzzer. Game 1 that was loss. I cheered a lot for that. But
I bet. I bet. I mean, I understand that as a net hater. But it's just a lot of similarities with that, with the season. Like, hey, wait till we all get healthy. Wait till you see this all together. And then when we saw it all together, they got pummeled by the Celtics in 4 games. And after that first game, it was like, whoo. But that's in the past. Yeah, and it's a relief as a Nets fan just to see the season coming to an end. It's been quite frankly just so boring. I mean, there's nothing to really say about the games. You're trying to lose, you're trying to tank, you're watching development of younger guys. Great. Who knows if they're going to even be here? The anger about Sean Marks, the anger about not tanking good enough to be essentially the 6th seed and not, top 3. It's really the only thing to complain about at this point. I think for the Nets, Alex, I think the problem was Jordi Fernandez. I don't think they realized how hard they were going to play for this guy, and they ended up winning a few more games than they thought they would. Another big problem was actually acquiring D'Angelo Russell. He did have an impact, but they weren't going to tank like how the Sixers are now tanking. They weren't going to tank like how some of the Wizards were tanking.
The Pelicans also shut everybody down.
The Nets didn't go full tank. Now only time will tell if it ends up working out or not. The big debate is, well, you're establishing good culture with a coach and that matters. Yeah, right. But at the end of the day, it's about how you do in the lottery, but not only how you do in the lottery, how you pick. You could end up with the 3rd pick and be shit, and the player of the 6th ends up being better. So you just don't know. And as a Net fan now, you just have to hope the tank gods see that the Nets weren't the Sixers and give them a little grace from above. But again, it's all about that May 12th date.
But like the people who are about the culture and the Nets are building a culture, like how many of these guys will actually be here in 2 or 3 years when
I don't think a lot of the fans feel that way now, honestly, Alex. I think a lot of them are really pissed off.
Okay.
They didn't go full in on that. But I think from Jordi Fernandez's perspective, like, what does he want to do? Like,
It's his record also. You know what I mean? It's his, it's his reputation. Yeah. He might get another job down the road. He might not be a Nets Nets coach the next 20 years. You know what I mean? Fans are going to be there forever, but the coach isn't. And he's worried about his family and his life, and he's trying to win. He doesn't care, because how many times have we seen it around the NBA where they're like, oh, this new coach, don't worry about it. Just lose a lot this year and we'll take care of you down the road. Look at the Knicks with D'Antoni. Look at the Knicks with Derek Fisher or Jeff Horner. You know what I mean? All these guys that have been on these teams and like, just lose, don't worry, we'll get you later, and there's no loyalty to coaches. They fire you when you go to the Western Conference Finals, like Kevin McHale with the Rockets. They fire you when you get to the finals, like the Cavs. You know what I mean? It doesn't, the coaches got to look out for themselves. And if they're coaching the team, they're going to do what's best to get another job. And Jordi Fernandez, even if he gets fired tomorrow by the Nets, he'll get another job, So
no, he's established himself that he definitely will, and I think he's recognized around the league and respected by a lot of his peers for what he's done with the Nets by taking a team that doesn't have much talent and didn't win a lot of games. They lost a lot, but competed and played hard, and you could clearly tell that they were in games and established that players under his roster will compete and play hard. It just sucks because as a fan, you want the best possible chance to have the best possible players. And for them to kind of be in this middle spot sucks. Now it's a lottery again, and they could win the fucking lottery, and then it doesn't matter. I mean, that's the craziest part of all of this is we're all fucking wasting our time yelling at each other, complaining about it. But at the end of the day, it's all about what happens on this date. And the bigger issue isn't about it's a 9.5 chance compared to a 14% chance. That's not huge for the first pick. The issue is if you go all this way and you move backwards, you end up at the 8 or 9 spot. That's the frustrating part. But again, then you got to pick. You could have the 9th pick and it ends up proving to be better than the 5th. There's just no way to guarantee that. But for the excitement, for the jolt of energy, to have Cooper Flagg or Ace Bailey like in a Nets uniform, that's the excitement. That's where you get amped up and get fired up for next year, and it changes everything. Now, the Plan A thing that came out about Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Nets, like that to me is where it's just so foolish.
So that's the official report. What was the official report?
That's from Brian Lewis, who said that the Nets' Plan A is to go in and try to get Giannis from the Bucks.
Okay.
And I don't know. I don't know if Giannis wants to have on his resume that he turned heel. Does he want that he left? Because if he does, he would clearly say, I want out of here. You're not just, the Bucks aren't just going to trade their everything superstar that has meant everything to the organization for the last decade. They're not just going to part ways with him. Giannis is going to have to greenlight this and then say, okay, work out a deal for me. And then let's see what happens. And, does Giannis want to turn heel? And for the Nets, is it the best decision to go in on a superstar who's now going to be aging the opposite direction? Would it be fun? Of course it would be. I mean, it would be way more fun.
Going right back into the shit you were just in, where it's like, you're not just going to get Giannis. You're going to get Giannis and somebody.
You have to have and.
Because Giannis by himself is a 7th seed or 5th seed, team. So
not good enough.
Not good enough. And if you're going to trade all of your picks that you got from Mikal Bridges, you got to get to a championship level. Otherwise, you're cashing in too soon,
And to me, this is where the Knicks just made such a colossal error. Was like Jake gave up all the leverage of these picks for Mikal Bridges.
Right, but they can give players up so they can trade if they really wanted Giannis, which I don't.
They lost so much flexibility with that trade. End of discussion. They lost it all.
They have the players to still match contracts to get Giannis if they really wanted to. I don't want them to do that. I think that would it's just silly. Like, what are we doing? So we're going from Randall to Towns to Giannis. Like, are we going to trade Giannis next year now too? Like, what are we doing? But at the same time,
there's no value for the Bucks to just make that swap. Then they suck, and they have less tickets. They have to rebuild. If you're going to trade,
it would have to be a massive deal. It'd be like 3 or 4 team deal. You're right. It made it more complicated for sure. But they had to trade these picks because they can't use them because there's not enough cap room. So they waited too long in one regard, and they should have traded for more picks in the front end. You know what I mean? So you couldn't make all those picks if you were the Knicks. So
I'm just telling you,
everybody knew that, and the Nets knew that too.
Well, from a time perspective, they didn't have to trade away their 2027, 2029, 2031 first round unprotected pick, and having that flexibility to go into trades. And I'm not even just talking about Giannis, but going into the deadline and finding somebody that can be a better suited player. Like I look at the Atlanta Hawks, who made the trade with the Cleveland Cavaliers for DeAndre Hunter, and they gave up 2nd round picks. Now, I think Mikal Bridges is slightly better than Hunter, yes. But if you look at the value in return, when they got 2nd round picks, as opposed to 5 unprotected firsts, That to me was where they made the massive
Well, the
mistake.
Cavs
Now,
also haven't won anything yet. So before you put this deal in the Hall of Fame, like they haven't even won a playoff series
I'm
yet
just saying it
with
was a
this
better
guys. Yeah,
trade.
so, yeah.
I'm not saying they have.
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying it was
Right.
that there's a guarantee to win. I'm just saying from an apples to apples comparison of two deals, Mikal
Mhm.
got dealt for 5 unprotected first rounds. DeAndre got for second round picks.
Right.
And Mikal's a slightly better player than what DeAndre Hunter is, or however nuanced you want to get in that. Fine, but
Yeah.
but the value in the trades were not even close.
Of course. Well, that's because Mikal Bridges is better, and the Nets had the Knicks over a barrel, and the Knicks couldn't use all their picks, and it just there was a perfect storm. I'm not gonna rehash that again, but I hear what you're saying though. It makes you make a good point about those future picks. They didn't have to do that because you still have plenty of time to trade those. But at the end of the day, the Knicks thought they were going all in. I don't think they thought the Towns trade was going to go through. Honestly, if they do that trade, would they? If gun to your head, do you think they make the Mikal Bridges trade if they knew they were going to get Towns for just Randall and DiVincenzo? I mean, do you think they'd trade all those picks for Mikal?
That's a good question. I don't know if they would have built their roster a little bit differently then,
because they didn't need to, because they were going to max out OG. They had to, you know what I mean? And OG definitely got annoyed that they traded for Mikal. Like, this guy plays my position. Now you got to pay me more. There's no way. He's a human. So obviously, the discount is gone now that you added somebody that plays my position. So do you think that they do that? I don't know.
And it's been fun in a sense watching Mikal without Brunson. I think you're seeing what net fans saw a lot of last year from Mikal Bridges, where he has games where he can light it up and he scores 30, 26 points. But then he has moments where he goes against the Cavs and he takes 6 shots in 42 minutes. And you're like, we need you. Like, what is happening? And then you have this like let's say Jalen Brunson is not on the Knicks. You're having this conversation about Mikal Bridges. It would be like, he's a good player, but he's not a number 1 or number 2 option.
Right.
So then he becomes the number 3 or number 4 option. And for whatever reason with Brunson, he doesn't have as good of chemistry when he's there just standing in the corner. It's weird because I think Mikal's played better without him. He definitely has.
I don't think it's a Brunson thing. I think it's just more that there's more opportunities now. You know what I mean? I don't think it's a Brunson that he can't play with Brunson. I think it's just now that OG gets more opportunity and Mikal gets more opportunity and Towns gets more opportunity. Well, Towns is going to get his regardless, but you know what I mean? Like, those two guys get more shots because Brunson's not there. It's not that they can't play with Jalen Brunson if it was apples to apples. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it feels like when you watch him without him, he's more comfortable because he's more flowing in the offense, as opposed to when Brunson's in the game and needs the ball to create and do things for him and his teammates, that Mikal's not as comfortable in that role for whatever reason.
That's fair. I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's also these games at the end of the NBA season.
Totally true.
Brutal.
Totally true.
This one, Obi Toppin looked like he was a Hall of Famer, getting the triple doubles and things like that. Dropping 42 points, so it's hard, man. The NBA season is hard because it's just like the end of the year is just, there's teams that are really trying and there's teams that are really packing it in. So I think BJ Armstrong said this the other day when he was talking about the Thunder and their great record and how they're compared to other teams in history, especially like his Bulls, So, and he wasn't even on the 72-10 Bulls, but still, it's his teams. And it's saying that like half the league is tanking right now. You look at give me the top 8 teams in the NBA are tanking or they have nobody on the team. You have Jazz, Wizards, Hornets, Pelicans, Sixers, Nets, Raptors, Spurs by accident, and the Blazers. I mean, those 9 teams are all tanking. They're all trying to lose. So they're playing teams like that's nearly half the NBA right there. So it's just, that's a lot of easy games that you can just roll the ball out and don't even have to run any plays. They're like, all right, please just win. You punch them in the mouth and then it's over.
There's no easy solution. For the NBA the NBA tried what they thought was a good idea, and I do think it is, to limit the lottery odds.
But it's not stopped anybody.
But it's not stopped. There's no way to stop it, and it's the way the sport is built. You need superstars,
one player,
or you have no chance. So
Yeah.
teams are now recognizing: are we going to be stuck in the middle, or are we going to try to lose games at the end of the year? And it has created, though, I think, this horrible impact on the end of the season. Right, like you can look at the Knicks wins. Every Knicks win in the last 2 weeks has been against these garbage teams. They killed the Wizards. They beat up on the Sixers. The Bucks on the road was an exception for sure. But yeah, like all these wins, and you're just, as a fan, I'm sure, just get me to that best of 7 series against the Bucks or the Pistons, and we can finally get it going again, which
It
is
does
why
help.
this is all about this
Yeah.
week is just about Brunson getting healthy and looking right.
Right. It does help though if you're from personally, if you have a family or you have plans and want to do things, you're like, all right, these games I'm gonna watch them, but it's like it's not appointment television. Like if I
No.
miss a quarter, it's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like a big deal, but it's like, all right, in 3 weeks, playoffs are coming and sorry, honey. Like, things have gotta you know what I mean? So I get it, but at the same it's nice to have that break, especially with baseball back where you can get into the season and the Mets, this and that, or the Yankees, whatever fan you are of a team, so that's fun, but at the same time, it's like it's hard for the product of the NBA, and they tried with this in-season tournament, and the problem is that these teams are tanking. That all the in-season tournament teams are already clinched, so it's just there's nothing to play for, So and like the Bulls, like they're gonna get in the in-season tournament, you think they're gonna make a run? You know what I'm saying? So it's just it's silly. The NBA.
It's
maybe Adam Silver would be like, let's do a round robin in-season tournament to get to the play-in, and teams gonna be like, fuck you. I need Cooper Flag. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. I don't care about getting the 10th seed and losing in 6 or 5, to the Cavs. Like, what does that do?
It's
for
all
me?
about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's and that's why
already billionaires.
When the playoffs start, it just flips. It just does.
Right.
I mean, we've seen it enough times to know when it gets to the playoffs, teams are going to go to a whole different level, a whole different energy. And it just changes.
It's definitely the culture has changed over the last 10 years or so. And I know this from playing fantasy basketball. Like, we used to play our season to the last week of the year, or maybe like a week or two before. We have to stop it like 3 weeks ago because it's literally, I got to the finals of playing Triple M, our boy, and in the championship in my fantasy basketball league. And literally I had Steph Curry, Amen Thompson, Malik Monk, and like I had like 4 or 5 guys in a week, just like, and Zion, like literally, you're fine, you're healthy, you're playing, all of a sudden up, out. Yep. And Amen was really hurt because the Rockets are actually trying, they're winning a lot of games, but like all of a sudden it's just like, what the and like there's money on. I'm like, come on, man. Like I'm out of it by Tuesday, and it's just this is ridiculous. That's what we might have to end it by the All-Star break, which is insane. It's like half the season, so it sucks. And the NFL doesn't have this problem because it's like, you can go on a run and you can get a star at 3, 4, 5, 6 in the second round. You can get a star, and it's easy. Like Jalen Hurts won the Super Bowl and he's a second round pick. You know what I'm saying? So it's
different sports,
right? Unless there's a quarterback like that's like Cam Ward, and you want to get him, but people are tanking for him and Shedeur Sanders and whatever. But at the end of the day, it's nothing like the NBA. It's like 3 teams in the NFL that are doing that. It's not like half the league.
Which is why it's so crazy that you could have all this tanking all this time, and it literally comes down to an 8-minute video, like an 8-minute ESPN watch,
or a 30-minute show that they make 8 minutes into.
I mean, that's
minutes.
it. All of this for that anxiety of that 8, and then it's settled, and then
they go to commercial. Just wait for that commercial break when the Knicks were falling into the Zion draft, and they're falling into the top 4. You're gonna be like, and back after this, you're like, what? Like, come on, man.
Oh, I was actually I went on YouTube and I was trying to find old lotteries. It's harder to find than you think from back in the day. And by back in the day, I mean like 2002. Like I just wanted to see these old lotteries because it's fun to see who's on.
It was like halftime of a playoff game. They didn't care. It was just quick.
They
monetized it. Yeah,
it was. It was just fun to see who was on the stage. From our childhood and stuff, and see all those guys. The big question around Nets Twitter has been who's going to go on the stage for the
on the dais. Yeah,
the dais.
I don't know. Vince Carter, it's a good time for that. He retired his number. That's a good person to.
I would love Kenyon to go on there. He would never do that. He'd be like, no, thank you.
You got to pay him. Yeah, also. So.
Kenyon's not going on there. But I don't know. I just think of like, what about Corey Cantor just on there? Would be great.
A fan, yeah.
Just
no,
Corey.
What about
Corey?
What's his name? Oh, Derek Favors. That would be perfect. That would be
the
a
last
good guy.
time the Nets picked in the lottery, I guess.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Now that was the John Wall one, which they did not win.
But who's a Nets player from Jersey that still is with the organization? Not Vince Carter. That
Kerry,
you can be
maybe.
Like, Kerry Kittles, that'd be a good one.
Stuff.
Yeah, he's like a net,
Kerry
like the net. There. Like the Knicks have so many guys that show up, like Tim Thomas, even like show up for games that like the alumni that just want to show up. But like who's that Nets guy? You think Kerry Kittles? I mean, he's been on the show here, Bad Weather Fans.
Kerry would be cool. Richard Jefferson would be fun, but he works for ESPN, ABC.
He'll be on the
He can't do it.
No, he can't. And now he's doing the finals too, so he's going to be doing playoff games. So yeah,
I love when people are always like, I constantly hear on the radio like, "Oh, Richard Jefferson hates the Knicks," and I'm like, Yeah, he does.
He does, and he admits it. He admitted it on our show twice.
Great. I love that.
Yeah.
I love when people admit it. Like,
Just be
admit
honest,
it. Yeah.
right? Like, stop. Don't be like Sean Morash and act like you're being serious when you're not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody knows you're joking. Like, just shut up, man. Like,
actually,
I love Sean, but you know what I mean. Like, it's
I know Tommy Lugauer, but he actually has been driving me crazy. And
because
credit
he's
to
a
him.
phone. It's all bullshit.
Well, no.
Like,
This is what's been bothering.
Everything's shtick.
No,
now.
here's what's been bothering me with him.
What's that?
Is his thing against Yankee fans being little bro. His 2025 Mets act is what
brother.
Net fans sounded like in 2020 when they got Durant and Kyrie. And I think the double standard of how much shit he gives Nets and their fans, but then acts like that towards the Yankees, legit got on my nerves. The hypocrisy, and I understand. It's like the way I phrase it is, the gap between the Mets and Yankees is slimmer than the gap between the Knicks and the Nets in terms of fandom. And
of course,
I understand that
because they were in Jersey. It's not your fault.
But that doesn't mean. But the playbook and how you're acting is still the same. And just because the gap is wider doesn't mean that it excludes you from acting like that. And that is what actually, I want to say, pissed me off, because it's not that serious. It's all fun, tongue in cheek.
Right.
But I was like, that hypocrisy got on my nerves and actually tweaked me.
Yeah. I mean, you know what a real big brother does? They don't talk about it. You know what I'm saying? They just do what they're doing. Let the Yankees chant, F Juan Soto at games when they're playing whoever they were playing last night. And it's just, that's, that is little brother activity, but like putting on this show every time, it's just silly. I'm positive. I'm not hating Luka. I like him, but like, it's just,
I think that I see, that's the thing is, I don't think it's a shtick. I think that, it's the hypocrisy. I hate that. It annoys me. It annoys me like no other, was when you can't be consistent about it. Like,
because Knicks fan and Yankee fans are always like, shut up, man. Like, little brother over there. I'm busy over here. You know what I'm saying? Right. Meanwhile, they are taking shots, but the mentality is way different. So I get it.
So I just had to. I wasn't planning on that, but Tommy got it. You got on my nerves, man. So good job. I mean, kudos to you though, because if you did, it means you're doing your job right. So I understand that too.
The problem with, we don't have to get into that. That's the problem with WFAN today. But whatever. That is.
Well, you and I will disagree on that, and that's fine.
I think that
you can have a different opinion on
you
that.
You can do it without being a complete phoney when everybody knows you're being a complete phoney.
Yeah, I don't think he's being a phony. I think he's being a dick. I think he just.
It's just trolling. It's trolling. It's all just professional trolling.
I don't think he knows the difference on what he's doing. That annoys me.
All right, we'll disagree on that. But
that was fun.
Like I said, I like Tommy, so it is what it is.
Well, I don't.
But I don't. Two things. One, I want to do your lottery sim. We can end it with that. One lottery sim, and number one. So then I'm trying to figure out what the magic number is for the Knicks. In baseball, they always do magic number. You win
for what?
For the Knicks to clinch the 3 seed.
Oh, I didn't know what you were talking about.
Yeah, because like in baseball, they always do magic numbers, and it's very prevalent. Like, if let's say the magic number is 3, if you win 2 games and the other team that you're going with loses 1 game, that's 3 games, and you win and you clinch. Like for the Knicks, they're up 3 games on the Pacers with, let's say, 6 games left or so. Mm-hmm. What's the magic number then? Like I don't. And the Knicks have the tiebreaker. The Knicks have the tiebreaker.
So I guess they got to win 3 then, right? Is 3 the magic number?
Is that how you do it? Is like what's the most wins so the Pacers are 45 and 31. What's the most wins they can get?
Well, right. It's a combination of getting to a spot where you can't. So any combination of wins and your wins and their losses combined, that makes the number. You need 3 of that combination.
Okay. See, what's funny is that I'm the one who works in finance as my day job, and you're the one who doesn't.
Well, I
can't even figure this stuff out. Well, I need a calculator. Yeah,
right. The magic number is the combination of wins and losses that get to equate the difference. So your wins and their losses.
So 45.
It's 3. The magic number is 3.
76.
If there's 6 games left, and it's 3. Because then if you tie, tie goes to the Knicks.
So it's 3.
I'm going to say 3. Yeah. I'm confident about it too. I want the Knicks to get the Pistons. I think the Bucks are a joke.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to play Giannis. Honestly, I really don't. I know the Bucks are a joke, but like Giannis, I just don't want to see, especially as these like 17 rebound, 20 assist game. Like
I get that.
Get it, but like I just don't want to see it. But the Pistons also are scary in a way where Knicks were scared of what was the team last year that was a little dirty that they didn't want to play in the playoffs? Oh, the Heat. The Knicks don't want to play the Heat. Some fans don't want to play the Heat in the playoffs, because they're a little dirty and they might hurt a player, which they did. But the Pistons are that kind of team.
Well coached.
well coached, yes, very well coached, and they want to fight, which is fine. And, Knicks fans will love that, but I don't know if this team this year is kind of built for that.
I don't either.
Like you see Dante DiVincenzo when he was here, he was built for that. He tossed the kid in the stands, whatever the player was, the young Pistons player, I forgot his name. And I don't want to see the Pistons because I feel like they might hurt them, but I think the Knicks could smack the Pistons around like on the court with like scoring wise, and they might just be like, all right, we made the playoffs. This is a success. Goodbye.
I don't think Detroit will have the "we just made it here" mentality. I think they're a much better overall team.
Right.
Now it's their first time as a group in the playoffs. Now there are guys there with experience.
Right. Tim Hardaway. Yeah, the guys like
Tobias
that.
Harris. Like these guys have experience, but I understand your point of the best player on the court is Giannis. By both
of course,
teams.
He's better than Brunson. One of the few players in the NBA that are better than Brunson for sure.
Oh, definitely. And
and Towns can't guard him.
That
so
element,
that's the other
that element.
Yeah.
So I understand that element of you get Giannis and he just goes absolutely nuts and you can't contain him, but he has nobody around him to help.
Right. Middleton's not there anymore.
Middleton's
Damon's
gone.
out. Yeah.
Dame is gone. Lopez is older. Kyle Kuzma, you trust in Kyle Kuzma as your two. Like,
right.
They just
is Bobby Portis back? I don't know. He was suspended, right? I don't even know if he's back.
I don't know the timing of that. It should be soon.
I don't even know. Yeah.
They have a bunch of role players around Giannis.
But even so, Portis is a role player. You're right. So
not enough. I mean, not enough. I mean, if you're a Knicks team will beat them. I think Milwaukee gets a game in Milwaukee with Giannis going crazy.
Like Gary Trent Jr. is not going to kill you.
These are good guys. If you add
Torrey Prince, they have good players, but not
role players. But you need Dame in his prime with Giannis. Okay, now we're having a different convo.
Yeah.
Like who's going to shoot big shots when in the fourth quarter? Giannis stays away from those.
Right. OG can shut down Kuzma or Mikal can shut down Kuzma, and then that's it. And it's just Giannis. I get it, but he's that amazing.
I get it. I just don't think he could do it for 7. I think he could get you. I think
he'll get you 2.
1 win, maybe 2.
Yeah.
Detroit's a team.
Yeah. And they're hungry. And Cade is a star. Cade Cunningham is a star. So number 1 pick and then developed into a player. He wasn't number 1 pick. He didn't look like a number 1 pick that first year, but sometimes you got to give these kids some time. It's like, and he was on such a terrible team, terrible roster, terrible everything. So we'll see what happens. But all right, so let's do your
you want me to pull it up?
Lottery sim. 1 sim. Everybody knows the rules.
You want me to pull it up, or do you have it?
You pull it up. You pull it up because I have it, but you do the sharing. You're better at that.
I want to do.
We're gonna do 1 sim. See where the Nets land in the lottery.
But what I want to do is, I'm going to sim it ahead of time. Then I'll pull up the screen.
But then people might think you're cheating. So I don't know.
How can you cheat? It's a website.
Because you might sim several times to get the Nets in a better spot.
I'm going to sim it one fucking time. Relax, everybody. I'm going to sim it 1 time, but I don't want to just show the top of the screen. I'm going to work my way up.
Okay.
So that we can have fun with it. Hopefully I don't.
All right. Don't share it then. Just sim it and just tell me what you get.
No, you got to see it. All right. I'm simming it now. I don't want to see it though. So I haven't even seen it.
Closing your eyes. Close your eyes.
Hold on. Let me I saw it. I got to resim it.
See, you sim twice now. See, it's not 1 sim.
Yeah, well,
the rules already.
I wanted to be surprised. And by the way, that would be a good sim if you're a Net fan. All right.
But you broke the rules. So now it's not a good pizza review.
All right. Can you all see this? Did I share my screen?
No,
I didn't share it. Okay, let's try it now.
Nope.
All right, now you should be able to see it. Okay, so this is the bottom.
Yep.
Nets right now, as you can tell, they got that Rockets pick. They've got the Knicks pick in the Bridges trade. And then they've got the Bucks pick in the Bridges trade. All right, so now let's get into the lottery. See if I can scroll this slowly. All right, you see
the
this,
Rockets
Alex?
pick was in the pit. Was the Rockets pick the Bridges trade, or was that the other trade?
That's another trade.
Don't see you're trying to blame everything with Bridges. You know what I mean?
So here's something already to be scared of. Okay, all right. So the Suns pick, that was the original one. That was the net pick they traded. Stays at 12, is going to the Rockets.
Okay.
The 11th pick goes to Miami. The 10th pick, Chicago. 9th pick is Portland. 8 is San Antonio. You nervous? 7 is Toronto.
A little bit.
The Nets stay where they are at 6. The 5th pick, Hornets drop 2 spots to 5. Pelicans are 4. Utah 2. Sixers move up to the 2 spot.
Of course. The
The
Wizards.
Wizards stay at 1.
Ugh, if
now just do
Cooper
it.
Flag goes to Washington, that's awful. Oh, we can't like have that.
No, the NBA. There you go. Nets at 2.
NBA can't have Cooper Flag in Utah. Well, Utah maybe because they're like a racist city. That'd be good for them. But like, or
I
so
mean,
they
the
say.
best spot for the NBA is the Nets.
Philly. It's Philly.
With the New
It's
York
Philly.
market.
New York market, yeah, but it's Philly because they already have Embiid and they'll
Well,
have
the
Paul George and
storylines
then
will be
add
nuts.
Maxey, and then you have Flag, and then you have Philly is back next year. You know what I mean? I think that's like,
Well, they would be back.
yeah. So
I mean,
that's
then George
scary.
is your 4th best player, and
And then you have Quentin Grimes too. On top of that, that's a
Nets are-
starting lineup: Maxey, Grimes, Flag, George, and Embiid.
how about Sam Quinn? Let's just call out people left and right.
Yeah.
But no, the Nets' typical player would be to go after Quentin Grimes.
Yeah,
That would mean they don't sign their own player and Cam Thomas to give a
to
contract
get Quentin Grimes? Yeah, no,
That'd
they're
be
not
such
gonna
an
do that.
odd thing to do. When
Right.
he's been a net, and you got Cam Thomas, reward him, pay him.
I would like, you know what I would like? I don't want him there because it's an Eastern Conference team, but I want to root for the Raptors because of RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly. If the Raptors get the lottery and get Cooper Flag and then they're good, like I want to see those players do well. I don't want to see them fade into the abyss because I feel bad for them. You know what I mean? Like they were almost responsible for building this Knicks team up quickly and RJ Barrett especially, and I don't want to see them just waste away in Toronto. You know what I mean? I know they got Brandon Ingram, which is not going to do anything for you as far as wins and losses. The guy's one of the biggest losers in NBA history, but I want to see them get a star with them, you know, so to help. Even though RJ Barrett is a star, right? That's what
Oh man. Is he one in Toronto?
No, I don't know. He has some good games here and there.
Stars
but
help. I mean, the truth is if you're a star,
right.
you win games with stars.
I mean, he
stars
did with
are
the
how
Knicks,
you win games.
but he also had help. So
yeah.
That first year with Tibbs, with Randall and RJ Barrett he was the number 2 option. They got to the playoffs, number 4 seed, but it was also a weird year. So COVID year.
Yeah,
so,
that was so final here, you rather see Detroit than Milwaukee.
Yes.
And then you'd most likely
I want to see Indy. I want Indy because I want blood.
It's not they're not going to
It's not going to happen. No.
Indy's the best of those 3.
I still want
Indy.
I want them because I want to beat them. Because of last year, and they have too many times they've beaten the Knicks head to head in the playoffs. Now, like got to end that bullshit.
Yeah, I wish they were seeing the Pacers. They're just not gonna. That would be.
I'm not afraid of the Pacers. I'm just not at all. So
that would be a fun series. As a first round matchup. I would take that in a second because it's gonna. I've been saying it since day one when the season started. I said wins and losses. And I've been consistent with this, Alex. I haven't gone too high on the Knicks losing or too low on the Knicks winning. I said, when they see the Celtics, that will be time. And if I have this vision, I think the Celtics are going to beat the Knicks in 5 in the second round, but the Knicks will win game 1.
Yeah, I mean,
I have a weird feeling
I think
about
the
that.
Knicks. I first had to see Brunson back. Obviously, if let's say apples to apples, and that's the second time I said that this podcast for some reason. But let's see apples to apples.
I said it, and then you stole it from me.
Apples to apples, or if everything is net, I would say that Jalen Brunson and the Knicks can beat the Celtics in the playoffs, and I'm not wavering on that. I really do think they can, and I'm not afraid of them. I'm not afraid of any team. The Cavs are very deep, but they have to prove it in the playoffs, just like the Thunder. They have to prove it in the playoffs. The Knicks have to prove it in the playoffs, but the Knicks are very experienced. They've been together, and I know everybody acts like this is a new team, but I mean, there's 2 new players on the team. I mean, like, what are we doing? This isn't year 1. That's another thing I was just talking about. Last thing before we end, Ty Butler, my boy, ESPN Radio, our boy, was on the show with us. We were talking about this on Twitter or X the other day, how Knicks fans have moved the goalposts completely and be like, this is year 1. Meanwhile, in the offseason, it was like, we're winning a championship this year. But now it's year 1 of the process because it's a new team. It's not a new fucking team. The team is the same as last year besides Bridges and Towns. Okay? Like, relax. 2 players doesn't make a whole team. Anyway, go ahead.
No, you're just.
I dropped something at the end of the show.
No, you
Sorry,
just remind me so much of a younger me. I don't know how to explain it.
2 years ago.
I know this.
It's not year 1. You got to win when you can.
I just know this. Like, hey, when they're healthy, I can see them winning, and then they never did. So I hope I'm right and you're wrong.
The Knicks haven't have a healthy roster this entire season. Somebody's been out.
I know, and I think that once you get to, there's this idea that you can, like I talked about before, that you flip a switch, and that flips with the intensity. But I don't think you can flip a switch where you go from we weren't good enough to now we can do it. If you look
The
at all
only
the past
difference,
champions,
yeah,
it's they had
Sorry.
it. Like look at the teams that like last year the Celtics had it. Those Warrior teams had like you don't just see a team that's slightly below that flips and gets better. That doesn't happen.
The only difference for me is that the Knicks have been together. So like the guys that are out that have been out, Mitchell Robinson has played with these guys for a while. You know what I mean? Like the Knicks have been together, so I feel like they are tested, and even Bridges and Towns have been around and they have playoff experience. So like I'm just not worried, man. I know everybody just obsessed with the regular season 0-8 versus these teams, and it is what it is. You might not even play them, so it is what it is. And when you play them, they might be injured, so just let's let it play out. I'm still confident in the Knicks. I think they can make a run. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, if you don't see them, it means you lost in the first round. If you don't see them, that's
what you think. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I can't imagine the Celtics losing to the Hawks in the first round.
That first year with the Garnett, Pierce, and Ray Allen team, the Hawks took the Celtics to 7 games in that first round series. They almost lost. They didn't lose, but they almost did. So it's possible. Teams can get picked off. There are upsets sometimes. We'll see. The Magic are one of those teams that I think really can upset one of those top 2 teams if they are, in that 7 or 8 spot.
Yeah, we used the logic about the Pistons first time, so then it's gonna be the Magic
Trae
first
Young.
time, and they're gonna go in and beat the Celtics.
What about Trae Young? I mean, who knows? The Heat stink, but like the Hawks or the Magic can knock off a team. I think I don't know about the Hawks because they're just Trae Young and nobody, but the Magic, they were supposed to be a top 4 team in the NBA this year. I know they lost Suggs, but Franz Wagner is back, and they all lost the other Wagner. He's out, so they lost Mo Wagner and Jalen Suggs. They're both gone.
Year. They're going to be a team next year.
But listen, Banchero is a superstar and Franz is a star. And these guys are really good players in a playoff series. They can pick off a team, man. I might even bet on it just because it'd be great odds, and it's possible. So we'll see.
A year away. I like the Celtics. I'll say Orlando's a year away.
Okay.
They're in the mix in a year. Then the future of the NBA loves this. The future of the East, the Magic, the Pistons.
The Raptors, the Nets, the 76ers. Yeah. I don't know.
Man, all right. Get me to May 12th. All right, Alex. This has been Bad Weather Fans episode.
You're very excited about my dad's birthday on May 12th.
I can't wait for it. We're going to get together and we're going to watch the lottery.
We're going to celebrate my dad's birthday is what we're going to do together.
I don't know if I can watch the lottery with you. I don't know if I can do it.
We're working on maybe doing a stream. We'll see how that goes.
I don't know. I don't know if I can watch it with you. I'll do it. I'm a freak on live streams. You got it. All right. Check us out on YouTube. I
said afraid, not a freak.
I heard freak. I had to produce something and it was, I thought you said, I'm being honest. I'm a freak.
You're a freak on live stream. I don't know what live streams you're doing, but maybe your OnlyFans is popping off, man.
Oh, my OnlyFans is huge, man. People come to my OnlyFans and I talk about the Nets naked. It's everything you'd ever imagine and more. It's the best thing you could ever experience in your life. Check out Mike Delivers OnlyFans. You can check me out. I talk about the Nets and their lottery completely.
You'll never guess what he's delivering. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, my penis. All right. Bad Weather Fans. See you later.
All right,
cut
see
this
ya.
up.